Well, Garma brings together people from across Australia, and this morning I am delighted to hear from 6 young people whose cultures, countries, and life experiences are all different, but all of whom have been empowered through education to walk in 2 worlds, strong and proud in who they are as bicultural Australians. So I'm thrilled to invite to the stage Winston Unipingu, who is a proud Gumatj man and Dimaroo Ranger. Corey Atkinson Harlan, a proud Yorta Yorta man from northern Victoria and a house parent at Nhulunbuy Boarding House. We also have Shakira Unipingu, Bianca Williams from New South Wales, Rhiannon Allen, also from New South Wales, from Newcastle, and last but certainly not least, Denzel Borthwick from Caboolture in Queensland. All right, well, look, what we'll do now is perhaps we'll go along, each of you guys, just to introduce yourself to the crowd and explain a little bit about your background, your education journey, and how that's brought you here. So, yeah, we might, we will, why don't we start, Winston, and we'll just go right along. How's that sound? All right, over to you, Winston.
How you going, everyone? So my name's Winston Unipingu. I'm a proud Gumatj man. I was born here, Nhulunbuy, a local, but I started my schooling in primary school down at Nhulunbuy here. Worked my way up till year 10, and then and also growing up here with a little school, you know, coming from a little town, it's pretty difficult for, you know, a young man, a younger man especially, coming from this town. It's very hard getting a real good education here, and getting the values that kids, that non-Indigenous kids get, and how they grow up. You know, we don't get what they get provided. You know, we grow up in a little town. Our families, you know, we're really they're really supportive of, you know, with everything that I've done, and
Great. Corey?
My name's Corey Atkinson. I'm proud Yorta Yorta man from Victoria. I was lucky enough to go to one of the elite schools in Melbourne, boarding, but it did come with its challenges. And I was very grateful to go to this boarding school. But I did face a few challenges while I was there, where I went back and forth with the principal at one stage to fly the Aboriginal flag every day. And some of the things that come out of that was that it was up to him, he wouldn't have flags up. Then I went at it again with him, and he came back to me and said that, well, what's going to stop everyone else in the school wanting their flag up if we put the Aboriginal flag up? And we went back and forth for the 3 years I was there. And I got it to one stage where I got it up in front of the library, because his last comment was, I don't know how people would react if it was up. And I sort of put to him that to walk down from the hill to go down to the school, to see that flag flying every day, would make me so proud and empower me to do the best I can at school. But because I sort of felt that I wasn't valued as a young Indigenous man at the school, I sort of dropped off a bit with my studies, because, you know, if I'm not valued there, why should I value what you want me to do at the school? And then I was lucky enough to come up here to Garma, I think it was back in 2010, and speak at one of the youth forums. And I left a message with everyone before I finished talking, which was, no matter where you are, always be proud of who you are and where you come from. And I took that for the rest of my schooling, and now I'm on the other side of it. I work in boarding. This is my 3rd year in education, 2nd year in boarding. And that message is still strong, but I would add to that, from being an Indigenous educator, that at the forefront of education for our kids needs to be culture. Because if we don't have culture and if we don't have an environment where they feel valued, sometimes, or I did myself, I can speak from personal experience, I struggled. At one stage I felt like I wasn't black enough and I wasn't white enough. And there will come a time in our kids' life when going through education that will come. It might be at the start, might be in the middle, but it might be at the end, but it will come. But if we can create a culturally safe environment for our kids to study in, then that shouldn't be a problem at all. But in saying that, to create a culturally safe environment, it's not just one PD, it's just not one person coming in to speak to your staff or to the kids. It is a journey that you have to commit 110% in and stick to it to create a culturally safe environment, not only for our kids, because they are the future leaders of tomorrow, to succeed, but for our Indigenous staff as well. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shakira Monogod and I'm a proud Japo Yolnga woman. I was born here and I was raised in Melbourne by my grandparents. I did schooling down there since year 7. I shifted to Sydney and is currently in year 12, just finished my trials, yay. And on my right is my cousin Whitney, also Winston's younger sister. She attended Winona boarding school, but is just dropped out, and she's now here at the boarding school, the amazing boarding school here at Nhulunbuy. For a Yolnga woman to come out of her comfort zone and to go into a place where it's just like new world and everything is completely hard, like you just don't know. But I have come through the many years of struggle and I'm here now and I'm so proud of myself. I have a I have a 2-year-old niece. Her name's Stephanie, and I would like, she's just there, and I would like to be an inspiration and a model for the community, for the younger people to look up to me and say, wow, I want to be someone like Winston or this man or me and the rest of the guys, and to be able to get out of the comfort zone like me. It is completely hard, but to be able to get out of the comfort zone and, you know, just go out there and do your best. You have like open opportunities, so many opportunities. I've travelled the world, far as Cambodia, and it's just been amazing. And now I'm completing a Certificate 3 in dental assisting. So I'm doing pathways in high school. And next year I will come back and finish a Certificate 4 in dental assisting, so that for my future career I would like to become somewhere in the like health unit, so that I can come back and tell to these children that these other Yolnga people that, you know, there is so many opportunities and you just need to go out there and experience it and you'll just love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Shakira, and to Whitney too. All right, we'll turn to this side of the stage now, and Bianca.
Yamagara everyone, my name's Bianca Williams. I'm a Barkindji woman from Western New South Wales originally. Some of you would have been fortunate enough to see a documentary about my hometown Brewarrina last night. And my educational journey actually started before I went to school. Like a lot of mob here, we start learning with our families really way before, as soon as we come out of the womb pretty much, you're learning what it is to be an Aboriginal person and what it is to be a family and community person connected to those who help shape and inform your views of the world. Going to school in Brewarren was really interesting, right? Because we were lucky. We had a nearly 98% Indigenous population there. My nana worked there. I'm really lucky. I come from a very rich family with an educational background. So Dr. Evelyn Crawford received the Order of Australia many years ago for her contribution and fight and advocacy for the right of black kids in the classroom in New South Wales, and was a founding member of the Aboriginal Education Consultative Group. So I had that really strong backing. But then when you leave that small, safe environment of your home community with your mob there, you go to places. I moved to Narromine, which is a very predominantly Anglo-Saxon community. And you're almost instantaneously disadvantaged because they're like, well, she doesn't read or she doesn't write at the level that our students are accustomed to. So that was quite a challenge. And then as I moved into the high school years, it became even more so apparent because I was the student that teachers would deliberately tell other kids in their class, don't be like that girl because you won't get a job and you won't go anywhere. And that's why I feel really proud when I can go back through my work with the University of Sydney now, spreading the power of education, because we know that it can change lives for the better, and can actually show that through being persistent, not listening to these people with their negative attitudes and their nepotistic perceptions of what Aboriginal people can and can't do, anything is possible. And that's why I'm here today. I also study at the University of Sydney as well as working in Indigenous health promotion. So I'm really proud about culture, and in any way I can build and broaden my knowledge to then share with broader Australia is an accomplishment in itself for me. So thank you.
Over to you, Rhiannon.
Hi everyone, my name's Rhiannon, or Ren. I'm a Kamilaroi woman from Tamworth. That's where I grew up in northwest New South Wales. Growing up, I had loving support of my family, but I went to the Catholic school and... Oh, there's a spider on my microphone. I went to the Catholic primary school, and I was literally the only, besides my sister and my cousin, I was the only Aboriginal student at the school. So that was really hard for me growing up, and I knew that, so I wanted to do something where I could be around Aboriginal people all day, around my mob, so I decided to study Aboriginal studies at university. But I guess how I got there, both my parents didn't finish high school, so I had no one that knew anything about university. I had to do all the research myself, but they did drive me to the Open Day in Newcastle, which was a life-changing experience. I went there and I just thought, yeah, I can see myself here. And I went to the Indigenous unit there, and there was heaps of people there, and they looked really happy. And I thought, okay, I actually feel like I could be supported here. So that helped my decision, and I worked really hard. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to help people. So I studied super hard and got in to Newcastle Uni, where I studied Indigenous Studies and Community Welfare Human Services. So education really was life-changing for me. University, I now work for the University of Sydney, but I've worked at Newcastle Uni and the University of New South Wales, so obviously I love uni. I haven't left. I think it's been really life-changing for me, and I hope that I've had cousins now who've seen me at uni, and I've helped them, drive them to Open Day and things like that. So hopefully that's sort of set a path for the rest of my family. That's probably about it.
Great stuff. And over to you, Denzel, last but certainly not least.
My name's Denzel Borthwick. I'm a proud Gubby Gubby man who descends from the Sunshine Coast, and I'm currently attending St Columban's at Caboolture. I've only recently moved back to the Sunshine Coast, and I used to live at Central Queensland, and all throughout primary school I was really the only kid that was actually Indigenous, and it was just really hard to really just have anything to do with my culture and learn about it. But since coming to St Columban's, the opportunities that I've been given is just unbelievable, and it's just amazing to be able to just express myself and just explore who I am and where I come from. Throughout life, I've really looked up to Arthur Beetson because he is my uncle, and it's just such a great role model to have so close to you, and just means so much. And so throughout footy, I've just constantly looked up to him in life. In the future, I'm actually looking at going into the army to get a trade there, and then maybe university after that, but just for the trade for now.
Good stuff. We'll come back and ask you some more questions, Denzel, but that's wonderful. Well, I'm just going to sort of throw some questions now at our panellists, if that's okay, just so we can sort of find out a little bit more about you guys and your education journey. And Winston, if I could start with you, I mentioned in your introduction that your work with Dimaroo. Tell us about, it's a gap year, I understand, is it?
Yeah, so I've taken a gap year to come back home and work with Dimaroo Rangers, and they've helped me a lot throughout my time when I've been going to school and stuff. So this is pretty much like a place where I can come back and, you know, just relax and get to know, like, just, you know, being around with family and that, and and it's a good opportunity for me that I've come back from that world, from the other world, the white world, into my world, and you know, the support that I've got, and you know, the courage from the families and that I've been getting, and it's nice to be home. And you know, the Dimaroo Rangers, you know, the program there, it's great. You know, we help out with the lock students. You know, we go out, and we do a lot of things with the lock students, because, you know, we wanna help them towards their goals as well, and what they want to do in their life and future. And that's what I want to do. You know, I want to become a teacher and give back to the community that what they've given back to me, and that's really something special that I'm working on. And the goal, you know, I'm still aiming on my goal, and I'm still working towards my goal. And you know, that's the goal. You know, I want to come back here and just give back to the community and give back to my people, you know, and that's all I've been wanting to do. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Winston, what has it been like sort of trading that traditional classroom environment to what I guess is probably like an on-country classroom?
Yeah, no, it is. It's very different. You know, we teach a lot of the kids about our land, and you know, we want to teach them everything that our ancestors learned from this land, and the knowledge that they've got, and we want to continue that, you know, with the leaders coming up, the new leaders, and yeah, we want to continue that, and for the next few years, you know, for the next generation, and we don't want to lose that identity and our culture, because we know that, you know, that's very important for us, and that's why being in that classroom and, you know, teaching them, it makes me feel good that, you know, these young people, young leaders are, you know, they'll be looking up to us, obviously, and that's what I want to do. I want to show them the way, you know, and be a leader amongst my mob, and that's, yeah, you know, it's really great, and I want to keep on doing it and encourage other young kids to, you know, get out of the comfort zone and experience other worlds, and both worlds actually, because yeah, it's very important that you do experience two worlds, because it is very hard if you know, stick with one track, because, you know, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and, you know, once that opportunity comes towards you, you know, you got to take it with two hands and, you know, give it with everything you got. And yeah, that's my you know, message to the younger kids coming up. You know, I want them to take that opportunity that they get to go to school anywhere, or like boarding school, just anywhere, and just make the most of your time. And yeah.
That's some great advice. Thanks, Winston. And Corey, if I can come to you, how big a difference was it for you coming from completing your schooling down south to what you now do as a house parent in Nhulunbuy?
Yeah, it was a big difference. So I worked in a boarding school last year in Melbourne. where we had to create that culturally safe environment for the kids that were coming to Melbourne. But then definitely coming up here, the culture is so rich and strong, and it's so empowering for someone like myself, from being from Victoria as an Indigenous person, where we're fighting so hard to bring our language back and keep our culture alive. We're up here, it's just thriving, and it's amazing. The feeling you get when you're here, you don't want to leave, and that's what got me when I first came up. It got me, and I definitely wanted to come back. So when I got that opportunity to come back, like you said, I took it with both hands. And being able to work in a boarding school here, where the kids are still around their mob, the kids are still here on country, and we can just go out in the trooping and go out hunting and fishing, and keep their culture alive, is amazing. Yeah.
Yep. And Cora, you spoke about some of the challenges that you faced through your schooling, and it was sort of a bit of a common theme for all of you when you sort of said, your fight to have the flag flowing at your school. You kind of felt, you'd been knocked down so many times that you felt a bit, devalued. I'm just wondering, how do you find the strength? How do you empower yourself when, you face obstacles and challenges like the ones that were put in your way?
Yep, definitely. Well, I'm now in a position to sort of stop that, so it doesn't happen to anyone else. I'm in a position where I've been through it myself, and I don't want to see young Indigenous kids face the same thing. I want them to get the best out of their education without having to worry about that sort of side of things, because that should just come naturally for them, being proud of who they are and where they come from. And that should be an environment where they can do that and be proud of it and share it with everyone. So.
And Shakira, you also spoke about, pushing out of your comfort zone in order to sort of get to where you're going. But again, do you have any advice? Because it can be a pretty tricky and scary thing to do, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was like, it started off smoothly, I guess, because at the age of like 3 or something, my grandparents took me in and they took me to Melbourne. And same with my other sisters. Started off there, kindergarten, went to primary school, went through high school, getting like everything just all sorted out and like pushing through. And then it came to the stages where Whitney and my other sisters came to Winona boarding school. I could see that they were really struggling and they really wanted to go back and like just were really homesick and felt really uncomfortable. And it's just like, for me to encourage them and like push them through was a really like difficult thing, because it was their choice, not mine. But I told them, you've got this amazing place, you've got so many opportunities, you just got to grab it by the hands and you've got it. And just like push through. And the reason why I pushed through is because my nana, the late Mrs. Gurewui, she last year spoke at the forum, the Q&A here, and said what she's only trying to do for us is to just get the best of, your future, and to push through and to thrive and to get an education and to get a place in not just Yolnga world, but in Balanda world, and to both connect better so we can both teach each other our ways and their ways as well, so we can connect better. And to have that connection will probably push more young Yolnga Indigenous people through, so they'll get the opportunities and they'll push through the hard years, and they'll, at the end of the year, they'll be like, yeah, this was all worth it, like, thank you. Yeah.
And Bianca and Ren, you also spoke about the challenges that you faced coming up through, your education and studies. So similar question to you, what advice do you have in terms of how do you empower yourself, find that motivation to keep going when sometimes there are all of these obstacles that seem to want to keep you down? What was the key to your success?
When you grow up in the bush, you grow up pretty tough. So you're used to having a lot of mud slinged at you. But it's kind of, for me personally, it was like an internal self-ignition that I've got this little fire in here and nobody's going to put that out for me, and you may come up against all of these barriers. It's just something, it's again that perseverance, self-love and care, and again appreciation for them old people that got you to where you were, because their strength, they might not be here in person but they walk with you, inside you, they're a part of your being, and that's something that I personally carry forward, and that's helped me get to where I am today and will into the future.
Beautifully put.
For me, I had similar experiences. Moving away from home was the toughest thing, being away from family, because I'd never been away without my family before, so that was really hard. I'd travel home every single weekend from Newcastle to Tamworth for the first 6 months, and then the Easter break I didn't even want to go back, not because I didn't want to study and do what I wanted to do, it's just that being away from family was so hard. So I think the same thing. Drawing on that fire and the support of your family is the best thing, and surround yourself with other people who have the same interests to inspire you and keep you going. And I also have, when I was at school, this is part of the fire that's driven me. My careers advisor told me not to go to university. I said, I really want to help people. I think I want to study social science. And she said, oh no, you should just go to TAFE, do community services. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I felt like I just wanted to, go that bit further and get out of my comfort zone. So I used that fire from someone telling me I couldn't do it to get me a bit further. I guess there's so many services at university to help you. Like counselling services were really important for me, and just the support of other Indigenous students and staff. So there's definitely people who are in the same boat. So that's probably one of the main advices, get around that.
Yeah, get support around you, great advice. Thank you to Ren. And Denzel, a little birdie in the crowd told me that you're also quite the sportsman, and you also mentioned, Arthur Beetson, the great Artie Beetson. How has sport helped empower you as you've gone along your school years?
Very recently I took place in the Queensland Murray Carnival, which was down at Redcliffe in Queensland. And from there on, there was a Queensland side selected, and I was lucky enough to get named in that side. And the amount of support that we were just given by the coaches and all the staff was just unbelievable, and it's just really pushed me to just strive for more. And just the support that they gave was just amazing.
Now, I wanted to ask you all a little bit about how you see the future going forward. I think everyone here who's heard you listen today, sees why you were selected on this panel. You're certainly, going to be our leadership as we move forward. So I'm really interested just to go along the line, and if you could all just share with us, your hopes for the future.
My hopes are to be able to see all younger people, exceed in every levels of, with anything, that they're doing. I want personally younger kids to be able to go out of that comfort zone, and I want kids to go to boarding schools. I want them to get that education that we got, that we're lucky enough to got, and excuse me, and all I want is for them to have that identity and that, the inner self, the spirit in themselves, and keep pushing themselves to in that future. All I want is for young kids to exceed in everything, and I just want them to be able to have that opportunity that any other normal kids have, in the growing up, and having that equal rights with everyone, and just being that connection together, and being together in one big family, you know. Yeah, that's I want. Yeah, to be just one big family, you know.
Well, for myself, I reckon I'll be in education for a while. After coming out of there and school myself, then being in it, I reckon I'll stick around boarding for a while. But hopefully for the future, for Indigenous kids and people going into the workplace, but not only that, for the organisations that are going to host the Indigenous people in the workplace, that one day everyone will eventually get it. Like the learning will still happen, but you won't have to go and ask questions. You will already understand. You have a really good understanding, and everything will just work. So everyone will have to work towards that, but we'll get there one day. But yeah, just hopefully that that learning can come and everyone can pick it up a bit easier, of understanding and of Indigenous culture, Indigenous people, and how things work, and vice versa for us to understand how things work within the non-Indigenous organisations and places for us to thrive.
Absolutely. Shakira?
I think that for the future, I would really like to see success in Yolngu education. I think it is very important for us to learn both ways and walk both ways, to have the opportunity in both Yolngu and Balandawe, to also share our culture with them and they share with us is very important, and to reconnect and all see each other as one.
Wonderful.
This goes beyond me. I would love to see this country establish its first owned, operated and facilitated Indigenous higher education institution at that university level and beyond, right? Because we are now having to subscribe to a westernised idea of tertiary education, and whilst that will suffice us when we have to walk in these two worlds, but where we would need to come to a point in time where our knowledges and our cultures are just as highly respected and revered in comparison to the mainstream.
I'm not too sure what the future holds, but I think I'll definitely stay within education. I love working in the higher education environment and having the chance to talk to young Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander students and tell them about my journey, and maybe that will be relatable for them and they think that they can do it as well. And then when I have my own family, that's something I'd like to show them as well.
I just really love to see, like, as a whole, just the Indigenous culture just starting to thrive and just bettering themselves as a whole, and just, I'm sorry. But,
I think that's perfect.
yeah.
Thank you, Denzel. Now, how are we going for time? Are we... We're about right on time. Well, look, I might just give all of our panellists, before we thank them, one final opportunity. And I understand, yes, that the Prime Minister is actually keen to meet some of our panel members a bit later today. So, what an amazing opportunity it is for you guys. So, look, I'm just going to open the floor to you guys, and whatever that is that you would like to share. I'm sure we'd just love to hear a final thought from you guys, and I guess again as we move into this amazing weekend here at Gorkala, if there's anything you'd like to share.
I've got much to say. I just want you to have your best weekend here. Enjoy your time here while you're at it. Take the time and the opportunity to, learn about, if you don't know the Yolngu way, to learn our way and to see our side of the world and how we live and live out through the years that we've been living through. and the struggles that we've gone through. But yeah, all I want you is just take time and just grab the opportunity with the leaders or any of our young people, and ask them questions. Just be yourself. I'm open with anything. If you have any questions, so just if you have any questions after this panel, I'm happy to answer it. So yeah.
Yeah, great.
Just like I said when I talked at the start, that if we do put culture at the forefront of our kids' education, that will give our kids the platform and the safe space to be proud of who they are and where they come from, no matter where they go with their education. So yeah, I'll leave that one with you guys.
Just on the topic of Winston, immerse yourself in the beautiful Aboriginal culture, have heaps of fun, dance your heart out, because that's what I'll be doing, and just share love and keep on smiling, because you all look wonderful today.
I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
I have a little story that I'd like to share just before I leave. So the day before we flew out to Garma, I was having quite a bad day, and one of my friends calls me up and she says, I'm coming over to see you tonight. And I thought, oh, that'd be nice, because I am feeling a bit low. I might need a friend there. And she walks in with this big canvas covered in a towel, and she sits down and she's getting married, and she said, oh, this is a bit of a pre-wedding present. And I thought, what's going on here? Anyway, she pulled the towel off, and it was the most amazing artwork I've ever seen. She'd contacted my cousin from home. Like, she's never been to Tamworth. She never had met any of my family. She contacted them, and my cousin made me this incredible artwork for my new house. And that really gave me the strength to come to Garma, because I was feeling quite overwhelmed. But yeah, I think I'm here now, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So I'll be doing everything. I'll be dancing. You'll see me dancing later. But yeah, I just think it's a great opportunity, so I'm very grateful to be here.
Beautiful.
I just hope everyone really just enjoys this weekend, and just because it's just such a great experience, the education that you get here is just like no other, and have fun and just enjoy Garma.
Fantastic. Thank you all for those final words. And thank you all for coming up on the stage and sharing some of your journey. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but I think we've all really learned a lot from listening to you and feel incredibly inspired that the future is in very safe hands. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you can join me once again in thanking all of our panellists, Winston, Corey, Shakira, Whitney, Bianca, Ren and Denzel.